looking at number 19, we read here, it says, what would the final temperature of water, what would be the final temperature of water? 50 grams at 0 degrees ice absorbs 21 joules, 21,000 joules. Now, it tells us that it's absorbing the energy. So when we look at our curve options, we see that absorbing energy is being added, so we know that we're going to have a heating curve. So let's go ahead and draw in our heating curve. Again, we want to draw all 5 segments into our heating curve. And it tells us that it's ice at 0 degrees Celsius. So right down here, we're at ice at 0 degrees Celsius. And it says, what will be the final temperature of water? So we can assume then that it's first going to melt and then it's going to heat up. Okay, we can assume it's first going to melt, then it's going to heat up. So let's go ahead and jump in first. 21,000 joules of energy is being absorbed by this sample. So let's see how much energy goes into actually melting the ice. So we take the mass times the heat of fusion, and our mass is 50 grams. Put that over 1. Our heat of fusion, again, looking at our constants here, we see our heat of fusion is 334 joules per gram. And when we do that math, it ends up 16,700 joules just to melt, you can't see it, just to melt the ice. Now we have a whole sample of 21,000. So we need to find out how much of it remains after we've melted the ice. So we take 21,000 minus 16,700. That's going to leave us with 4,300 joules remaining to warm up the water. Now the question was, what's the final temperature? Well, we know right now the temperature is at 0. Okay, so we just removed 16,700 joules to melt the ice. Now the temperature is at 0. It's frozen, well, nearly frozen water. It's water at 0 degrees Celsius. Now we need to increase the temperature. And we have 4,300 joules to do that. Well, how far can it take the temperature at 4,300 joules being added to this 50 gram sample of water? Well, let's go ahead and plug that in. And we will get 4.18 joules per gram times degrees Celsius. Doing this math, we see it ends up being 20.57 degrees Celsius. Now, normally we would say, okay, but how do we find the final temperature? But remember, the final temperature is your initial temperature plus the change in temperature. Well, if our initial temperature is actually at 0, then we're just going to add it up to what we had there. So we end up at 20.57 degrees Celsius.